Welcome to CTV News Your Canada. It's Thursday, October 23rd. We'll bring you profiles of fascinating Canadians and stories about your community. Thanks for watching.
Mark Rankin and his friend Grant Cameron were not counting on getting up close and personal with pilot whales when they started their day yesterday.
Me and a couple of my buddies, we were heading over to Port Hood Island to winterize a friend's cabin.
When they got onto the island at about 9 a.m., they found 3 pilot whales that had gotten too close to shore and were struggling to get back into deeper water. A friend on the scene told them DFO had been called, but with low tide approaching and time appearing to be of the essence, the 2 men decided to see if they could help.
So we stripped down into our briefs and did the best we could. We got the first one out without too much issue, and the second one, he took a little longer to come around, but we got him out in deeper water.
Yes, so we had a team that was coming with our appropriate response gear and equipment, and also Fisheries and Oceans were sending a team down.
The head of the Marine Animal Response Society says their team that was on the way from Dartmouth was called off because members of the public have managed to help the whales first. She says while this situation appears to have had a good outcome, normally there are safety concerns when it comes to approaching large wild animals like this.
It worked out well in this case that they got the animals pushed back in and nobody got hurt. But that could be a very different case given how big and powerful these animals can be.
Rankin says it was pretty memorable to be that close to an animal of that size.
To touch them and look into their eyes, like, you know, that's kind of what got us, I think, and made us, you know, do the right thing. I hope we did the right thing.
When asked how he feels about potentially saving the whales from beaching, Rankin largely shrugged it off, saying that other people in their situation might have done the same thing.
We feel pretty good about it, and if nothing else, we'll get a good laugh or being on the news in our underwear.
A brief moment that's proof heroes don't always wear capes, or in this case, too much else. Ryan McDonald, CTV News, Port Hood, Nova Scotia.
No one can stop me.
Is it just me, or is this dog smiling at us right now?
Are you happy every morning when you wake up because you see this?
I am, yeah. I really am.
This is Bella, a 14-year-old wiener dog in Tampa whose mouth seems to slant itself just enough to appear like a little grin above her chinny chin chin.
For as long as I can remember, yeah, she's had this little smirk.
You can ask for flowers, I sit for hours.
Now, how did this happen? Well, her pal Melanie here says their family's best guess at this resting smile face is Bella's missing tooth in a very specific spot.
See, there's no tooth on this side up top, and that's where her lip is always sitting.
However, Melanie says over time, Bella's smile has actually gotten even bigger as she's lost more teeth in her golden years. Also, speaking of her golden years, Bella has found fame in the last 2.
Now somebody, anybody, everybody screwed.
With videos like these picking up millions of views on social media. One commenter writing, okay, well, this is the cutest dachshund I've ever seen. P.S. Don't tell my dachshund.
Did you think that her smile was that unique?
I really didn't. No, I didn't. I mean, I loved it, but I didn't think it was like that quirky and unique to where everyone would be interested in it.
And even though, yes, Bella may be getting up there in age, she still loves to splash around in those clear Gulf waters. While, of course, still reserving the right to be pushed around in her throne.
Just every time I look at her face, I'm like, you can't be real. You're a stuffed animal. I mean, basically, her face is just 3 black dots, right? It's like her eyeballs and her nose and then her little smirk. It's the funniest thing.
Music and culture, and of course food. It was all part of the international fanfare as the first products rolled off the assembly line. Hundreds of dignitaries from Ontario and Europe were on hand as Italian food producer Andriana, maker of Felicia brand gluten-free and plant-based foods, held the official opening of its first North American production plant, located on Innovation Drive in East London.
Today we are celebrating much more than the opening of a new plant. It's the beginning of a new chapter.
The $55 million plant is more than 61,000 square feet in size, and that makes for a lot of pasta.
If you produce 24 hours, 320 days per year, etc., you can reach a final capacity of 14,000 tons of pasta. Just as a number. 14,000 tons. Okay, good.
And the consumer also are changing, are looking for quality for sure, but also more nutrients.
Located in the heart of the Southern Ontario Farm Belt, what that means is this company has easy access to everything it needs to make its products. The new plant gives the company a foothold in the North American market, but it also cements London's position as an agri-food hub.
We're ready to be aggressive on attracting agri-food and food manufacturers to our city.
And Andriani just adds another layer of innovation and global quality production.
Among the guests at the opening, Italy's ambassador to Canada, who praised the economic partnership.
And how great our ambitions are when we really strive for the best of quality, when we strive for excellence.
The company says the plant will employ 40 people by the end of the year. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
Sudbury fans have been cheering on the Blue Jays all year, but after the Jays beat the Yankees in the playoffs, memorabilia has been flying off the shelves like it's 1993.
Yankees lose. Since they won the American League East, the Blue Jay interest has been huge. Once they beat the Yankees, it just got so crazy. And now that they're going to the World Series, first time in 32 years, requests are just going off the roof.
Some fans even want to get closer to the action, and a broker from Star One Tickets in Sudbury is making it happen on a local level.
I would definitely buy off somebody that you can, know and trust. That's why I recommend coming into our store, physically calling us. Nowadays online, it's all online. You don't have a name to a face. Here you have a name to a face.
Ticket costs have grown exponentially in the postseason, but Reali says some fans are willing to go the extra mile for the chance of watching the Jays bring it home.
It's the World Series, first time in 30 plus years. It's against the LA Dodgers, the biggest market in all of baseball, I would argue. And it's also on a weekend, so demand is definitely at an all-time high. Prices always depend on what people are willing to pay, of course. But I would say compared to a lot of the online sites, we're in Canadian dollar, we're not in American dollar, which right now is a pretty big difference.
But not all fans are making the trip to Toronto. Many are watching the World Series from local sports bars.
I don't know, you just get those body chills and thrills and the excitement and, kind of almost like being there but not being there.
Bonis says for the upcoming series, the restaurant will continue to host watch parties, joining the rest of the country in backing the Jays.
It's definitely attracting people and bringing more people in. On the last game, Game 7, there was quite a lot of new faces, so that was great to see.
Madison Marier, CTV News, Sudbury.
Inside this Kensington Market bakery, there's one flavor you could say is good luck.
Coconut cream pie.
That's Wanda Beaver. She and her husband David own Wanda's Pie in the Sky. During the World Series in 1993, coconut cream pie was Joe Carter's favorite, and he was craving a slice to be delivered before the historic Game 6.
He was sitting there with a couple of other fellows, and he says, well, how much do you want for that? And I go, tell you what, make you a deal, Joe. You can have the pie for free. You just have to return the pie plate when you're done with the pie, after you win the World Series, I said. And he goes, sounds like a deal.
And we all know what happened next.
It's the pie that won the World Series. That's what we used to call, we still call it. Now we're getting people coming in and they go, I heard your stories. I want a coconut cream pie. Is the magic? The magic is still there. And every time that happens, they win.
As the 2025 Blue Jays gear up for their first World Series appearance in more than 3 decades, a lot of fans have their own superstitions they'll be following.
I've had 3 beers each game that they've won, so 3 beers consistently.
Same jersey, same hat. Around the 7th inning, just before it started, rally cap on.
While everyone has their own game day ritual for the World Series, it might have been Vladimir Guerrero Jr. himself who broke Toronto's Game 7 playoff curse. Vladdy walked into the ballpark ahead of the Jays' deciding game against the Seattle Mariners wearing an Austin Matthews Maple Leafs jersey. Anxious fans feared the fashion choice, as the Leafs have lost all 3 Game 7s they've played in the Matthews era. But Guerrero went on to win the ALCS MVP, and the Jays punched their ticket to the World Series.
Everyone in here is rooting for the Jays right now, obviously, so it's I'm sure it's the same thing when they're coming to our games, but for him to show some love and respect to Austin is obviously well-deserved. It's great to see from Vladdy.
Back at Wanda's, they say if any Jays player is looking for dessert ahead of this World Series,
Joe Carter had a good idea, and it worked for him. Maybe it can work for you, too.
One slice may lead to the sweetest win of all, Raheem Ladani, CTV News.
Meet Phoebe, the only dog actually qualified to be behind the bar. She's 57 in dog years and successfully obtained Alberta's mandatory ProServe certification, the same training required for humans who serve alcohol.
Very proud. You know, she's been leeching off us for about 9 years, and it's about time that she's able to step out in the workforce and pay some bills.
You're reaching through.
Sure.
All joking aside, Phoebe's certification raises serious questions about the integrity of the system managed by the Alberta Gaming, Liquor and Cannabis Commission, which is why Cognizance, a training and assessment security company, recruited Phoebe to challenge the test.
We think of how long this program has been in place. We need the systems to be checked to make sure it's meeting the intent. Otherwise, it ends up just being a tax on the time and the money of Albertans.
Phoebe's owner used AI to take and pass the test. That it can be so easily fooled is no big shock to those working in the industry.
Do you know, not particularly surprised. It's unsupervised, so anybody could do it. I could send it over to my mum in Scotland and she could complete the course for me.
ProServe testing is designed to ensure those working with alcohol understand their legal and safety requirements. If tests can easily be bypassed, that's a big problem, says Mad Canada.
To hear about situations where the system can be bypassed or cheated, and so people who are getting their certificates really haven't done the work. It's concerning because I think it ultimately puts everybody at risk.
AGLC admits it doesn't require identification and expects employers to be sure staff are compliant. In a statement to CTV, a spokesperson wrote, employers are required to maintain accurate personnel records and are responsible for verifying the identity of the individual. AGLC can also revoke ProServe certification, which is what happened after CTV inquired about how Phoebe got hers. Kevin Green, CTV News, Calgary.
Tinseltown versus Hogtown. Hollywood versus, well, Hollywood North. The World Series heads to Toronto this week. 2 teams, 2 cities, but only 1 champion.
Nervous, a little bit of an upset tummy, but I think we can do it.
I think the Blue Jays have more spirit. They play like the team is even all the way down from 1 to 9, and they play like a team.
As they were at the start of the season, the Dodgers are the betting favorites to win their 2nd World Series title in as many years.
She's gone!
Well, the Blue Jays have gone from worst to first, finishing dead last in the American League in 2024 to winning it all this year.
I think that it's anybody's game, and I think the Jays are the underdogs, and the underdogs always come out.
The LA Dodgers have won 8 World Series in their history compared to 2 for the Toronto Blue Jays. And when it comes to payroll, both teams may be big spenders, but LA has doled out far more cash for stars like Shohei Ohtani and Mookie Betts.
The Dodgers' payroll is closer to $350 million, whereas the Blue Jays is about $250. You know, so $100 million, that's a huge gap, right? That's another Shohei Ohtani or 2, right, that they can afford with that difference.
And while the Dodgers took the season series against the Blue Jays 2-1, the Jays have the better regular season record and have earned home field advantage because of it, which at least one statistician says gives the Jays a slight edge.
I did a simple statistical model and just tried to put it all together. I'm currently estimating Toronto with a 52.46% chance of winning the World Series.
At the end of the day, though, there really is only one number that matters, and that is 4. 4 games to win the World Series. Heather Wright, CTV News.
This is Lumi. Her name means snow in Finnish.
We've just announced the lynx is in fact going to be transferred into care at the Assiniboine Park Zoo.
The 6-month-old cat is still recovering from a dog attack in August, where it's believed the pack likely killed her mother. Swan River locals drove 10 hours to bring her here to Wildlife Haven Rehabilitation Center, where they've been treating her injured eye, bringing in Manitoba's only veterinarian ophthalmologist.
Some of that damage is irreparable, unfortunately, and will require some pretty intensive surgeries and care going forward.
Luckily for Lumi, the road to recovery has been smooth so far, but she can't be released to the wild because her eye has developed a cataract, leaving her vision impaired.
She's been doing fantastic. You know, our team has done a lot of really good work in making sure that she's got all these enrichment items in her enclosure.
But she can't stay at the Haven forever, so Assiniboine Park Zoo staff answered the call.
They're able to work with us as a partner to transition this lynx
into our care, where it can live a very fulfilling life as an ambassador for its species and connect with our community.
Enright said the zoo has a long history of looking after lynx. They lost their former cat Bijou earlier this year at 22. Enright calls lynx the ghosts of the forest.
They have these gigantic feet to walk on the snow, but most people, even those who spend time in the boreal forest, never get to see a lynx.
It's not clear when or if Lumi will be on display to the public. Enright said she will need more surgery, but she'll be well looked after. Joseph Bernacki, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Oh, I'm here 5 days a week.
Terry Usick and Cliff Marchuk are here at the Fieldhouse getting some exercise. But what brought them here is much more than fitness. They've faced the fight of their lives.
They did a blood test. 5 o'clock that afternoon, I got a phone call from the doctor, and he says, you need to call 911 and go to the hospital. You're having a heart attack.
Failed a stress test and went to emergency a couple months later, and they took me in and thought it was the stents would fix my problem. It turned out to be a triple bypass.
Now they're helping others because they're part of the volunteer-run Coronary Artery Rehabilitation Group, or CARG.
Life doesn't end once you have a heart condition. What CARG offers you is fitness, fellowship, and health.
CARG members come together here for fitness and are also connected with any special services they need. They also visit patients in hospital, sharing their stories.
And we say, hi, my name is Terry. I had a heart attack 7 years ago, and I was where you are. The day that they're in a hospital recovering from either a stent or open heart surgery is one of the toughest days of their life.
CARG has been doing this since 1985. They're celebrating a big anniversary.
Over 40 years, we've helped over 5,000 people. Right now, our membership is well over 400.
The program is one of a kind. They even get inquiries asking for advice to start a similar group in other cities across the country.
We're unique to Canada. There are programs similar, but we're unique because we're all volunteer-driven. Everything we do is raised, the funds are raised through membership dues.
So with every step, this group proving that healing is stronger when shared.
I love going and talking to people, and they're so enthusiastic. So does it lengthen life? I'm going to say yes, it does.
Carla Shinkrook, CTV News, Saskatoon.
A school teacher.
Precisely.
Oh, so he says.
It's a classic fall setting. The original Legend of Sleepy Hollow short story was published in 1820. This 2025 adaptation is by writers with the Alberta Theatre Projects and the Old Trouts Workshop.
The story itself is a completely new version. It's nothing like Tim Burton's. It's not quite like the cartoon of Walt Disney in I think it's the 40s that was made.
Matthew Mooney and a total of 7 other actors bring the story to life on stage.
It's exciting to be able to take something familiar and flip it on its head and make it new, fresh, and exciting.
Haysam Kadri's job is to take what the writers have come up with and adapt it to the stage. This is his first time working with the Old Trouts.
I've only admired them from close and from afar, so it's been really, really exciting to dig deep and dive into their minds and their world.
The challenge for Peter Balkwell, who helped write the adaptation, was training the actors to become puppeteers. Mooney's never done something like this before.
This is a completely new endeavour for me, and there's certainly been times where it's been stressful, but I've got a good team that has supported me throughout the entirety, from cast to the director to stage managers and the theatre. So it's been excellent.
Balkwell says the production could become an annual fall classic, similar to The Christmas Carol.
It's exciting. I expect every theatre in Canada is going to want to run this show. And I think there's going to be some interest for folks down in the States too, because we speak about their current situation. And everybody wants to find a voice on that.
The show runs now through November 9th at the Martha Cohen Theatre. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, Calgary.
When Leo was 6 months old, he was diagnosed with a genetic disorder which would likely impact his ability to walk. 3 years later, with the help of the Trexel walking device, Leo was in motion, taking a walk around the First Steps Wellness Center.
With a little bit therapies, we kind of got where he's right now. He is making some huge progress. With having the machine here, basically, it is helping us a lot.
The device is designed for children with mobility challenges, kids at the center with cerebral palsy, muscular dystrophy, spinal cord injuries, and other neuromuscular conditions will be using the device. Those at the center say the new addition has revolutionized their child therapy program.
We are the first one in Saskatchewan that has one. We're the first nonprofit charity in all of Canada that has one. There's only a handful of devices across the country. They're probably becoming more popular, but they are quite expensive because it's some very new and innovative technology.
Weight and height are factors for those who can use the machine. The child is seated inside with their waist and feet strapped in. Small motors at the waist and knees then propel the motion. Information on how they're doing is then fed back to the operator.
The machine doesn't force them through any movements. Like, it's all super gentle, and it lets me know how they're doing, if they're fighting it, if they're helping it. The super cool thing about it is you see with the iPad, we can adjust everything on the fly. So if the kids, just something isn't walking right, it's just a super quick fix.
Right now, there are spots open at the Center for Children who would benefit from the walking machine. It's one more device that can help clients pursue independence and a better quality of life.
We think it's remarkable. However, we also believe that the secret sauce to our facility and our organization is our staff. So the Trexo is just call it another tool on our tool belt, combined with other methods and other pieces of equipment we use to help kids regain function.
The Trexo walking device was gifted to the center by an anonymous donor. For kids like Leo, being able to put one foot in front of the other is priceless. Mick Favel, CTV News, Regina.
Pictures. If you look at these pictures from George Brewster's past,
there when I was very young,
you'll see a caring kid who helped animals in distress and loved dancing in the kitchen with his mom and sister.
And they were dancing not to the steps, they're dancing to the music, and it's wonderful.
But with others, George could be shy.
I stammered and stuttered, blushed.
And because of that, was brutally bullied.
I was attacked in my own yard.
It inspired George to fight for what's right, and when the Second World War began, the teenager enlisted in the Air Force before he was even eligible.
Oh no, I wasn't brave. I just hate injustice.
George earned his wings, faced fire in the skies over Europe, witnessed the worst atrocities the Allies were fighting against.
And I was then glad that I had been one of the ones to help put a stop to it in my own small way.
While George was grateful to return home alive, he vowed to never stop fighting for others.
I would say a life of service is the only life worth living.
Not only did George spend decades serving with countless community groups, he worked to overcome his struggles with speaking and still regularly recites words of remembrance at public events.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row.
George remembers every line of that poem and others, along with all sorts of details about his past that he wrote about in his memoir, A Joyful Survivor.
It feels like I'm still thankful to be here on this earth and to be able to help others along the way.
The 102-year-old is also grateful to attend these weekly dances, where he demonstrates the steps he first learned from his mom and sister, who also taught him that the most powerful weapon against injustice is love.
Love is the greatest thing. Love will overcome all kinds of obstacles.
Adam Sawatsky, CTV News, Duncan.